Hello, David here, coming to you live as I do well every other Wednesday when we don't have the show on. I'm excited tonight to come to your living room, your device, wherever you're watching us from, because I'm going to be teaching some practical things today that I believe will help somebody out there watching us live here tonight. Please go ahead and share the link and be a blessing to somebody else so that we can reach as many people as we can together. We are live on Facebook, on our website. I believe we're also live on YouTube. Yes, we are. And so, whatever platform you're using, settle down and enjoy this broadcast tonight because I'm going to be teaching some practical things that we can glean from. And as usual, I'll try to keep it within reasonable time so that you don't have to stay here too long. You can go and have your dinner. But I'll just put up the topic of tonight's broadcast up on your screen while you settle down, grab your drink or tea or whatever it is that you take, and also while you share the link out to somebody else. And my team are going to be doing the same as we do, and then we will be getting into the topic in the next 60 seconds or so. This is going to be good, so settle down and just be blessed by this. We will be, it won't be a moment, just let's go ahead and do the link shares. And because a lot of people are waiting for this broadcast, I wanted to give the opportunity to get the link shared out so people have it before I dig into it. Otherwise, I'm digging into it in the next few seconds and at the most 2 minutes, no more. So just settle in and let's allow our team to just share the link out to everybody out there. But this is going to be good. The stuff I'm going to be sharing here tonight is stuff that is not cheap, and people pay a lot of money for it to be able to have access to it. However, I feel that it is a good thing to give it out without any fee or anything like that, not because I do not value what is being shared, by no means, but just because we want to reach as many as possible out there so that people can understand some of these principles and we can all grow and rise together and get to the top together. So that is why I'm doing this and sharing this. And I am hoping that it will be a blessing to you. So, whatever platform you're watching us on or from, come on in, settle down. And hey, good to see you, Darren. Good to see you, Melon, my ever present help in time of need. Good to see you on the line. So, I'm excited. This is going to be good. And please share the link if you can with somebody else. And then we can dig in and really be a blessing to somebody out there. I know that there are very few people who can say that they probably don't need a topic like this or won't benefit from it. Because even if you're doing well and you're successful, you can still benefit from this session. I believe that with all my heart. And so let's settle in and let's see if we can get this to happen. I believe my team are telling me the links are nearly all shared out. And I believe we should be getting started very shortly to look at things that really matter to help people prosper and just really understand money a little bit more. And I know that we cannot exhaust the topic of money, but we will do everything we can, or I will do everything I can to cover as much as I possibly can on this broadcast without keeping you here too long. Pastor Danny, good to see you. Sambiati, good to see you, my friend, online. And this is going to be good. And I believe it will bless somebody out there. Anna, good to see you, woman of God. It's so good to have you here. Okay, I think I'm about ready to get into the session. And so if you are, wherever you are, just settle down and let's do this together. Okay, I'm gonna dig in. Let's go. Let's remove the banner from there. And okay, so come on in. Welcome. We are talking money tonight. Money wisdom. We're talking money wisdom. A lot of people pray or they do a lot of other things, and half of the time, if not more than half of the time, what really the issue is not that somebody hates them or somebody wants it bad for them, but just a lack of understanding, and hence I am determined to give somebody understanding. So we're dealing with money matters. I will be doing very little of the preaching, if you like, and more of the teaching and just giving a master class, if you like, in money matters. We can never exhaust this topic, but I'll give as much as I possibly can. So let's go for it. some statistics for you. The total personal debt in the UK, the total personal debt in the United Kingdom, since we're in the United Kingdom, this year is projected to reach 1.84 trillion. Right here in the United Kingdom. I don't know where you're watching us from. I know we get viewers from around the world, but because we're in England, I'll give you some UK statistics. And that is an average debt per person of 34,500 in the United Kingdom. And so this average debt equates to 105% of the average UK annual salary, which means the majority of people are in the red right here in the UK. I don't know which country you're watching it from, as I said, and you probably have worse statistics than the ones I've just given, but I'm just using these for the purposes of today's class. Now, here is one more statistic before I kick in. The poorest 50% in the UK own just 9% of the country's wealth. The poorest 50% in the UK own just 9% of all the wealth. There is a 48% of people in between, fluctuating, but the other 10% of population own 43% of all the wealth in this country. Just to give you an idea of the distribution of wealth in the UK. Now, I want to kick this off by giving you 15. I've narrowed it down to literally just 15 keys to money wisdom, 15 keys to financial freedom or money wisdom, or however, whatever you want to call it. And then after the 15 keys, I want to leave you with 15 laws that govern money. Now, I know that prosperity or acquiring or accumulating finances is not something that happens accidentally. It is something that is by design. And that is why I've narrowed it down to these particular subjects and lessons so that we can glean lessons from them and grow from them. Because if I were to teach all of it, we will be here for a very long time. If anything, this would probably be best done as a series so we can gradually roll it out. But for the purposes of today's class, I will just dig in and give 15 keys to money wisdom, and then I will give 15 laws that govern money. And on hopefully, I won't be breaking them down too much. I'll just be highlighting them so that we can get through the material tonight. I want to give you a scripture, those of you that would like to have one. A wise man once who lived in Jerusalem, whose name was Jesus Christ, he gave this parable. The parable can be found in Matthew, in the big book, in Matthew 25:14-28, where he talks about the parable of the talents. He says, listen, there was a man who went away from his house, and he left his talents with some of his workers. And one of them got 1 talent, the other got 2, and the other got 5. And to cut the long story short, what happened was the person that got 5 went and doubled it and made another 5. The person that got 2 doubled it, went and got another 2. And the person that got 1 went and hid the 1 that he was given and did not do anything with it until the master came back. When the master returned, he said, listen, you who doubled it, you're going to get a lot more. I'll give you much, much more. And you doubled the other one, you'll also get a lot. But the other one who did nothing with it, he says to him, I'm going to even take away the little that you have. I just thought I'll start off with that one as a principle that we can mark down so that we can get some lessons from it. Now, as I begin to break things down, we will understand some principles that I believe will help somebody out there. So 15 keys to money wisdom. 15 keys to money wisdom. I was reading from Matthew 25, by the way. 15 keys to money wisdom. Let's go. 15 keys to money wisdom. Number 1. So key number 1, see yourself wealthy. So you've got to see this. You've got to believe that you can be successful financially. Now, there are different types of success in life. And when we talk about success, it's not just limited to money. You can be watching me. You might be watching me and you're saying, well, having money doesn't necessarily mean success. And you're right, because being successful can mean all sorts of things. To a new mother, Success is just being able to get that baby to sleep for the first time, through the night. That's success to her. And some different types of success in relationships, in other things, in sport, etc. But tonight we're talking about money wisdom. So bear with me. When I talk about success, I'm talking about financial success tonight. And so, number one, see yourself wealthy. You've got to believe that you can do this. And I'm cruising with you. Let's go to number two. Number two key to money wisdom is one I'm taking from the parable we just read of the tenants, and I'm calling it a stagnant versus an investment, or stagnancy, if you want, versus an investment. In other words, there is a difference between money that is stagnant and money that is invested. And so, key number two, if you want to be successful financially, key number two for money wisdom is make sure your money is not stagnant. Make sure that your money is not stagnant. What do I mean by that? Money doesn't like sitting idle, doing nothing. Money likes to work, it likes to do things. And for those of you that maybe would like a practical example of what I mean by that, because I am not going to be dwelling too long or laboring any point at all, I will just quickly move on. And good to see you, Sylvia, all the way from Zambia. Good to have you on the line. Listen, so number two, we are saying that money doesn't like being stagnant. In other words, it likes to go to work. Money is not lazy. So the best example I can give you, some of you have, let's use banking, for instance. You may have a current account, you have savings account, you have ISAs, different types of ISAs, individual saving accounts. That's what ISAs are. You have all sorts of different types of investment accounts out there in the market, whether with your bank or different financial institutions, whether you're investing in shares and stocks and shares or anything like that. However, the difference is if you have, for instance, a current account, and if you're watching me right now and you have a current account, you're watching me right now, you have a current account, and you have put all your money in your current account, you need to listen to this class. You cannot have all your money in a current account. Reason being, the current account gives you no interest. There's no growth. It's just sitting there stagnant. If anything, after some time, not only will your money remain the same, it probably might even lose value because of inflation. And so if you have, for instance, 5,000 pounds to your name, you don't want to have all the 5,000 pounds in your current account because it gives you zero interest. And so what you want to do is you want to move that to an account, the majority of that, say 4,000. But for you to do that, as we will see before today is finished, you must have a budget, of course. So if you still need the 1,000 to pay bills, by all means, you can leave it in there for your current account to pay out direct debits and stuff like that. Things that you cannot set up on these other accounts that will actually gain you more money. However, move the bulk of that to an account that will actually make you money. So that's lesson number two. Money doesn't like being stagnant. This is exactly what our good Lord is actually talking about when he says the man who had the 5 talents, he did not put it in a current account. The dude that was penalized kept his money in a current account. What do I mean by that? He buried the 1 talent under the soil, which is equivalent to you who has 10,000, 20,000, 1,100 in a current account. You've buried it. Go back a year from now, how much is going to be in there? The 1 talent. Exactly the same amount of money you left in there. The only thing that would have happened to it is due to inflation, it would have probably lost its value, even though it would still say 100 pounds. And that's what Jesus was trying to teach when he says, listen, don't bury it. Don't put it in a stagnant account, such as a current account. Only use it for bills and direct debits. Shift the rest of your funds somewhere where it can grow. I promise not to labor a point, so let me move on. Number 3, let's go to number 3. If you have any questions, by the way, because I'm not laboring any point, feel free to ask. Send a message or type it in here. I'll be able to see it and I'll answer it. Or if you're watching this after we've come off live, you can send it in. I'll be more than happy to answer and help empower anybody out there who wants to get empowered. Number 3, here is a simple wealth formula. Let nobody tell you that there is no formula to wealth. There is actually a formula to wealth. So you might be wondering, how do the rich people get rich and how do people stay poor? It's a very simple formula, which I will quickly give you, and then I will move on. Most of these principles I'm teaching can be found in my book. One of my books that I've written is called I believe it's called Dare to Be Rich, which is you probably have it in your library. If you don't have this book in your library, please get it. But there's a follow-up that's going to be coming soon that I believe will add more value. And so, number three, the wealth formula is very simple: spend less than you earn. Spend less than you earn. Earn more than you spend. Very simple formula to financial success. Okay, spend less than you earn more than you spend. It is that simple. If you spend less than you earn, you will increase financially. If you earn more than you spend, you will increase financially. The devil has nothing to do with this. Your cousin has nothing to do with this. The people who don't like you have nothing to do with this. Whatever you do, make sure if you follow these rules, I'm telling you, they work for anybody and they will work for you. So let me move on. Wealth formula number three. Moving on to number four. Number four, practice delayed gratification. You don't have to have everything. Stop listening to sales tactics telling you this is the last item. If you don't get this, you're never gonna get it. Don't worry. If it's no longer gonna be there, it means they're out of business and they're not going anywhere. They will still be there tomorrow. They will still be there next week. They will still be there when you can actually afford it. Practice delayed gratification. Number five, okay, find problems to solve. Stop chasing money. Start looking for things you can resolve. Every successful person out there, when I say successful, like I've said, we're dealing with finances. We're talking about every financially successful person solved a problem. Find a problem, get a solution, get it out to the marketplace, and your wealth is hidden in there. Preferably something you enjoy doing, even better. But find problems to solve. I have promised you I can expand on these further if you like, if you get in touch on any point that you want. But today, I'm cruising through all of them so we can get done and go have dinner. Number six, both wealth creation and poverty are not accidents. Both wealth creation and poverty are not accidents. Both of them follow the same formula. Remember the wealth formula. If you want to be poor, spend more than you earn every month equals poverty. There's no curse. This is not a curse. This is not a demon. It's not the devil. No. It's just spend more than you earn and you will guaranteed be broke. Very simple. Spend less than you earn and you will accumulate financially. So both wealth creation and poverty are not accidents. Everything, both of them are by design. Number seven, money does not segregate. Money is not racist. Money is not sexist. That means you can prosper whatever color you are. You can prosper wherever you come from. You can prosper whether you're male or female. Money does not segregate. It is no respecter of anybody. It doesn't matter where you came from, what family you come from, where you grew up, what education you have. Money doesn't even respect degrees and PhDs and all that. Money does not segregate. Anybody who wants to be successful financially will get successful if you can follow the rules. Money has rules, it has regulations, and if you keep them, you will prosper. Okay, let's see, where are we? We're at number seven, and I want to quickly move on to number eight. Number eight, understand the difference between assets and liabilities. Okay, and when you understand this, you will know how to position your money properly. Stop spending your money mostly on liabilities and continue, or rather, start spending money on assets. Wealthy people don't just buy stuff just because it looks shiny. Oh, it's a nice TV. Oh, it's nice shoes. Oh, it's a nice handbag. What is it going to bring you back? Are you sure you are in position to be spending on liabilities as much as you are? Because a lot of broke people just buy stuff. They buy anything and everything they see and like. In fact, they will even get a loan to buy something, which is not even going to bring them money. What is an asset? Anything that makes you money. What is a liability? Anything that costs you money. So pause and ask yourself, when you get paid, are you spending money on things that bring you money? If you are spending on assets. Are you spending money on things that cost you? If you are, you are spending on liabilities and you're on the broke side of this equation. But it's not too late. You can change. Some of these liabilities are human beings, but I'll leave you alone. So today we're talking about money, but I'll leave human beings alone. Some of you might need to, break away from some of your so-called friends and family who are liabilities, and they're always draining you financially. So always ask yourself before you spend: is this a liability? What is a liability? Is it going to cost me money only, and that's it? It won't bring me back money, which is what an asset is. Or is this an asset, which means is it going to bring me money? When you answer that question, now go ahead and make that spending decision. Some of you even think the house you live in is an asset. If I ask you, oh, can you tell me your assets? The first thing most of you will mention is, oh, my house, my car. Wrong, wrong, wrong on both counts. Your house, as long as you live in it, remember, what is the definition of an asset? Anything that makes you money. It's not making you money. If anything, you're still paying the mortgage on it, or whatever it is you're still paying. It is still a liability until you finish paying off the mortgage. And even after you finish paying off the mortgage, as long as you're still living in that house, it is still a liability because it's still not making you money until you move out, buy another one, and you rent that one out. Now it starts making you money. Now it is an asset. Some of you might say, oh, I have my car outside. Sorry to break it to you, but your car, unless you use it as an Uber or whatever to make money, it is not an asset. It is also a liability. Why? What is the definition of a liability? Anything that costs you money. Your car, I know my car costs me insurance, road tax, repairs, servicing, fuel. I can go on. Parking, and if you get speeding tickets on top of that. So anything that costs you money is a liability. And understand the difference between an asset and a liability. Very, very important. Number 9. Let's move on. Number 9. Let's see, what do I have on number 9? Bad debt versus good debt. This follows on nicely on top of the understanding assets and liabilities. You must understand there is such a thing called good debt, also such a thing called bad debt. In my book, Dare to be Rich, I've written about how to get out of debt. But in the follow-up that I'm going to expand further, I'm also going to talk about the power of good debt, because there is such a thing as good debt. For instance, some of you have bad credit because you don't borrow anything. And companies don't operate like that. The world doesn't operate like that. The world wants you to borrow and prove that you can pay back before they can trust you with money. That is called good debt, that you can manage to pay back. And we will talk a little bit about that before I finish today. I will also talk about how to manage your credit card and things like that, understanding your credit score, so you can understand what you're dealing with. But then there is bad debt. What is bad debt? Bad debt is money that you borrow to spend on liabilities. What is a liability? Anything that costs you money. So bad debt is when you spend on something that would just cost you money. Good debt is when you spend it on assets. You borrow to increase. You borrow to make more money. Now that's good debt. I don't even think there is a single thriving company out there in the world. I don't want to mention any names so I don't get sued. But almost every major company out there has borrowed at one stage or the other. Maybe even right now they're in debt. The UK is in debt, the whole country. America probably owes more than anybody. But literally, there is something called good debt, where you borrow to invest and accumulate. Don't borrow just to spend and look good and show off. That is called bad debt, because it will never come back. It's just costing you. But anyway, I said not to labor any point, so I'm not laboring any point. I'll move on. But under bad debt, I want to maybe break down a few things which I've put under the category, not under bad debt, but as an extra point. So I'm gonna go to where am I? Number 9. I'm gonna go to number 10, and kind of continue talking about bad debt and good debt by explaining a little bit more about your credit score. So if you want to borrow money, I don't know about other countries. I know in America this exists, in the United Kingdom it exists. There is something called a credit score. And companies, whether it's banks or lending institutions, they look at your credit score. I'm sure it's the same in a lot of other countries. Before a bank can lend you money, or any financial institution can lend you money, they will first look at what is your ability to pay back. And your ability to pay back is influenced by a number of factors. In other words, your credit score is influenced by a number of factors. It's a mathematical calculation that is based on a few habits that you have in your life. And these are financial habits. What are the examples of this? Are you able to borrow some money and pay it back on time? Do you pay your bills on time, or do you miss your bill, your deadlines to pay your bills? Do you have bad debt? Have you defaulted on maybe loans or bills? All these things affect your credit score. But that's not a terrible thing. Understanding how these things work and how they affect you is the key principle here. If you understand how it works, every month, for instance, in the UK, your credit score changes every 28 days. You have a new score based on how you've managed your finances. Of course, there is such a thing as a credit history, and there are certain things like CCJs and defaults that stay on your record for 6 years or so. But there are many things you can influence and change every month by just staying on top of. And I'm going to give an example of one of those. There are many things I can talk about. I can talk about your utility bills. I can talk about all these other things. But today, I want to zoom in on just one aspect of bad debt that I believe is hurting a lot of people out there. In the UK alone, every on average, let me see, it's about there's some stats I was checking out. I think it says about let me see, the credit card debt per person in the UK is currently at 5,400. So I want to use credit card as an example of what I'm talking about when I talk about managing your borrowing. And so your credit score will be affected by how you manage your finances. For instance, what you're paying out to the people you owe versus how much you earn. This will determine your credit score. Another thing that determines your credit score is called credit utilization. What that means is a very simple equation. If you want to check your credit utilization, I'll give it to you right now. It's very simple. Say, for instance, you have access to 1,000 worth of debt, or money that you can borrow, or let's say 600, 700, whatever figure you want to use, worth of debt. You put that 1,000 below. This is how much you have access to in terms of your loans or credit cards or whatever. And then that month you spend 500 pounds of that, or let's say you spend 300 pounds of that. If you spend 300 pounds of that, multiply that by 100. So put the 300 on top and the 1,000 below, multiply that by 100, and you get the percentage, which I believe should be 30% credit utilization. Now, financial institutions are happy for you to spend up to 30% credit utilization and below. Anything higher, you become a risk and they don't want to touch you. So say, for instance, you spend 400 pounds out of the 1,000 you have access to, multiply that by 100, your credit utilization is now 40%. That's higher than the 30% that is preferred by most lenders. I hope this is helping somebody. It's impossible to give every example and exhaust everything, but I'm just giving you pointers. It's just a short masterclass just to help somebody get an understanding of how these things work. So let's move it along to number 11, because at number 11, I want to talk about very quickly understanding your credit card. Very quickly understanding your credit card. You see, when I was a student, I didn't understand that the overdraft wasn't my money. I didn't understand that it belonged to the bank. And I also didn't understand that the credit card was not my money. And I got myself in trouble, messed up my credit score and all that. And I just want to help somebody out there not to repeat my mistakes. And in case you have already done this and messed up, don't worry, there is hope for you. You can get yourself sorted and fix the situation. So very quickly, I want to help you understand how to manage your credit card. A credit card is not the devil. It is not necessarily a bad thing to have. It's actually a good thing for you in so many ways, in the sense that it helps you with your credit score. It increases your credibility in the lending world, in the sense that on the financial markets or in the financial sector, if you can prove that you have the ability to borrow money and pay it back, that's good for you. So it's a credit card in itself is not a bad thing. It has a lot of other advantages, such as when you're traveling, some credit cards will let you spend without any charges abroad. Some credit cards will give you other rewards, such as when you shop, and it gives you, for instance, even the protection you get when you spend with the credit card, say on flights, and flights get cancelled, you are protected. So it has a lot of advantages. Now, here is why I picked it out, because it's the most common debt in the United Kingdom. I don't know where you're watching us from, but over here, this is probably the most common debt and the most dangerous debt. I'll tell you why. If you, for instance, borrow 500 pounds on a credit card, that is your limit on a credit card, and every month you only pay off the minimum payment on your credit card. Please listen to me very carefully. This is very important. If you have, just an example, as an example, 500 pounds on your credit card limit, and you only pay back the minimum amount. Now, credit card companies are not silly. They will tell you, oh, you borrowed 500, that's your statement balance. However, you don't have to pay 500. You can just pay £7 minimum, and that's okay until next month, and so on and so forth. Now, what this means is every time you do not pay the full balance on your credit card, that is when that APR that they told you about when you were signing up for the credit card kicks in. This is how the credit card companies make money. They will make money off of the interest that you pay because you haven't cleared it. So from this day forward, since we're doing money wisdom, start treating your credit card like your debit card. What do I mean by that? Only spend on your credit card what you can afford to pay back before the duration is over, when you need to pay it back, when the interest kicks in. If you spend, for instance, £500 of your credit card, you pay it back before. Now, don't pay back on the day that is due, because they will calculate that as it will go down on your score as you have spent. You remember the credit utilization? You spend 500 out of 500. That's terrible utilization, 100%. If you pay it a couple of days before, by the time it matures for payment and they record what you owe, they will just write down as you've spent maybe nothing, or you've spent £10 out of the 500 because you've paid off most of it. Here is the moral of what I'm trying to say. Make sure you only spend on your credit card what you can afford to pay back within that period, okay, before it is time for payment. Do not fall for the minimum payment trick. It is a trick, and I'll tell you the mathematics behind it. If you only pay the minimum, for instance, on a credit card of up to £500, let me tell you how long it will take you to pay off that credit card. Maybe you want to take a guess as I pause for a few seconds. Guess how long it would take you to pay back your credit card if you just pay the minimum balance. Yeah, a few guesses out there. Anybody want to guess? It will take you, I will tell you right now, it will take you 38 years to pay back a £500 credit card if you just pay the minimum. That means you are subscribing to the credit card, you are tithing to the credit card for the rest of your life. I don't know how old you are, but it will take you 38 years to pay back. It's a terrible thing to do. However, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing to have one. You just need to understand that whatever I spent this month, I better put it back. Otherwise, it becomes bad debt. I hope somebody's now. If you pay it back in time, you pay zero interest. Exciting stuff. In other words, what I'm trying to say is, yes, it's good to get a good credit card with a low APR, but you're only concerned about the APR if you don't know how to use your credit card very well. Because yes, be concerned about the APR, but if you really know how to use the credit card, it doesn't even matter what the APR is, because you're going to pay it back before the APR kicks in anyway. That is how you should treat every credit card, whether it's the API is 1000% or 100% or 15%. It doesn't matter if you know how to use your card, which is paying it back in time and in full. In full. Okay, mind you, once you pay it off in full, you still have access to that money for another month anyway. You can still go back and use it as long as you pay it back in full. I'll leave that alone so I don't labor the credit card too long. Like I promised, I will not dwell too much on one point. Let's go to number 12. Number 12. Number 12, where am I? It says how the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Maybe you've always wondered, rich people always get richer, poor people get poorer. On this one, there's a lot that can be said about it. But I'll just give you some examples of how this happens in the real world very easily, okay? Say, for instance, a rich man has got 10 million in his account and is getting what, 4% or whatever in the type of investment account he has on it. He's making 400,000 every year. Okay, he's making 400,000 every year in just interest, and he can live off that if he wants every year. Whereas a poor person cannot make that. Another example I can give you is when you have to buy things. The earlier you buy things such as holidays and flights and booking for things, the cheaper you pay. Now, when you're broke and you have to save up every penny before you can buy, maybe a week before you fly, that's when you buy. You're paying the premium. You're paying the highest amount on that flight or on that holiday. Whereas somebody who has money in advance, would have already paid half of what you're paying way before the time of their travel or their holiday. So he is getting even richer while you're already poor, but you're getting even poorer. And so there are many examples I can give of how the rich get richer. For instance, they spend on assets more than they spend on liabilities. We've already pointed that out. It's a long topic on its own, how the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Jesus is a good example of the parable we read. To the guy who was already rich, he was given even more. The guy who was broke, even the little he had was taken away from him. But I'll leave that one at that. Those two examples hopefully should help. Number 13, because I want to cruise and finish this one in time. And I know I normally do this in half an hour, but I just want to finish this so we can get it done. Number 13. Learn simple budgeting skills. Number 13, learn simple budgeting skills. In other words, before you get excited and start spending your money, have you got a budget? Okay, can you afford the thing you're spending? A lot of people blame the devil and their cousins and everybody else for their lack of finances because they don't even know where the money goes, because they have no clue where the money goes. When was the last time you wrote down everything that comes in into your account and everything that goes out of your account? Write it down, see it, look at it. When was the last time you did it? If you don't have a budget, please don't blame the devil or anybody else or your haters for being broke. It's got nothing to do with the fact that you're not a good Christian or a good person. No, you're just disorganized. You just go to the shops. Mbuyati says impulsive buying. That's right. You go to the supermarket while you're hungry. You're going to come out with a trolley full of things you don't even need because you were shopping on an empty stomach, for instance. You got no budget. You got no shopping list. And so you're buying. You get home and you say, oh, I already had another bag of potatoes and I bought another one. And you are the type of person that goes to the corner shop to buy little things, there are things that you will always need the whole month. Things like sugar, salt, for those of you that still drink sugar, cooking oil, things that you will need for the rest of the month. Why are you buying little pockets of it over many times, which accumulates? Buy them in bulk, put them aside. But whatever you do, make a budget. Some of the fights you have in your family and in your home are because you don't have a budget. So when your relatives come and ask for money, for instance, which they need money wherever they are, and you're fighting now between you and your wife or your partner, you're fighting because you just feel, or you're giving a lot to your family because you have no budget. In your budget, allow for family help in your budget. Part of your budget, this is towards family. When that runs out that month, it doesn't matter what's happening with your family. You tell them we don't have. This is how you keep the fights low in your family, and this is how you continue to accumulate financially. If you don't budget for it, you will spend money that you don't have. Don't forget to have different accounts for different things. This is for bills. This is for fun. Have fun budgeted. Put fun in your budget. So when Susie comes and says, hey, you want to go out this Friday? You go look at your budget for fun. Your fun budget, if it's got 10 pounds left in it, you probably can't afford to go out with Susie that weekend. Okay, so Susie's going to have to wait until you can afford to do it. Success, wealth, and prosperity is not an accident. It doesn't just happen. It takes precision. You got to follow these things. They work. Whether you're a female, whether you're white, black, it doesn't matter. They work, but you've got to do them. If you don't do them, you just leave blase, que sera, sera, whatever will be. Well, I'll leave it at that. You can finish that sentence. Let's see if we can do number 14. Number 14, where am I? By the way, that this includes some unscrupulous preacher who wants to convince you that you have to part with your last money because they feel God told them to do this. If God hasn't spoken to you about it, you better hold on to it. Okay, don't be impulsive even when it comes to that. Now, that's not to say don't give offerings, don't tithe. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that make sure you part of your budget, put your tithe in there, put your offerings in there. And once in a while, God will prompt you to give somebody finances or an offering, but make sure it is you that he has spoken to, not somebody else. I just thought I'd help somebody there. Let's see if we can move on to where am I? Number 14, I believe. We're almost there. Number 14. I may have to do part 2 to this so that it doesn't go on forever because I got 15 keys, 15 laws that govern money after this. So I may have to do this next time I'm here. So maybe today I'll just finish with the keys, because today we're just doing keys. I was gonna do the laws as well today, but I will probably pick up the laws as part 2 of this session. Today, let me finish off with just the keys so I can let you go away and do some dinner or something else. So number 14 key, and then we'll do number 15, and then we will pack for tonight, because I'm looking at the time, and we've done about 40 minutes or so, and I don't want to go over 1 hour. If I start doing the laws, it will go over 1 hour. I can do that in part 2. So let's see if we can do number 14. Number 14, the poverty mentality. The poverty mentality. A lot of us think how we think about money because of how we have been raised. Now, I love education. I go to school. I've been to university. I've done all sorts of learning. But one thing I have understood or discovered is that the university system or the school system doesn't teach you about money. The world is designed to train you to go to work, graduate, get a job, and basically go to work and graduate, get a job, and maybe get a mortgage, buy a house, and that's it. They don't really teach you about how to really make money, or they teach you how to work for money, how to earn money. The school system teaches us how to earn money. And when we look up at the laws that govern money, I'll be expanding this further on how to make money instead of earning money. It's one of the laws that I'll be talking about when I go to the laws that govern money. And so you must understand that the system, the world system, is designed, including your university, your school, whatever you went to school, wherever you matriculated from, they taught you how to earn money. In other words, they equip you and prepare you to be an employee and earn money, which just gives you enough. Every company pays you only enough salary to keep you going back to work. If they paid you too much, you're not going back to work. They make sure they pay you just enough to keep going back to work. Because if they gave you too much, you will never return. And so you must understand that there is something called the poverty mentality. And if I can tell you a little bit about this, what is the poverty mentality? The poverty mentality is when you have the insatiable desire to spend everything that comes into your hands or comes your way. If you are listening to me right now and you're the kind of person who has no plans to go anywhere tonight, and then all of a sudden, if I say to you, I'm going to wire you £1,000 right now to your account, all of a sudden you got plans to go shopping or plans to go out, you have a poverty mentality. People with a poverty mentality are not comfortable with a healthy bank balance. People with a poverty mentality, I'm diagnosing some of you right now. If you can see yourself in these statements, you have work to do. It's not the end of it. You can defeat the poverty mentality. You can change your mindset. You can transform the way you think. Maybe you were just raised that way. Maybe that's all you know. So poverty mentality means as soon as money comes in, you want it out. When you look at your bank balance and you've got a few thousands in there, or there's a few hundreds in there, you are not comfortable. You are fidgety. You just want to go and spend. This is a poverty mentality. Get comfortable increasing. Get comfortable with accumulation. Get comfortable with a healthy bank balance. Then you know you're defeating the poverty mentality. I used to be that person. As soon as I have money, I want to spend. All of a sudden, I'm making plans. Poverty mentality. You will never succeed if that is your mindset. Remember, delayed gratification. Even if you want something, sleep over it. You realize that the following morning when you wake up, you didn't really need it. Poverty mentality is the one that makes you want to spend, spend, spend. Even if you just have £10, you're just uncomfortable that it's in your pocket. You want to spend it. You have a poverty mentality, my friend, and I'm praying for you. It is a bad mentality. It has kept a lot of people broke to this day, because you see, in life, it's not so much about how much you earn. It is about how much you can return. It's about how much you can keep. There are people who have the poverty mentality. If you give them £100, go back tomorrow, they're broke again. The same person, give them £1,000 because they have this mentality. Go back next week, they're broke. These are people you will give 10,000, you will give 1 million. Go back next year, they're bankrupt because they have a poverty mentality, which is to spend, spend, spend. Whereas if you defeat the poverty mentality, yes, you will spend, but within reason. Remember, spend less than you earn. But most of this money you will invest back, you will multiply. When we look at the laws, you will see some of the laws that we talk about. One of them is the law of multiplication, and I'll be dealing with this in my next session as we come back for part 2 to conclude money wisdom. But literally, I am hoping and praying that by the time we are done, you will make a decision. I am going to defeat the poverty mentality. I used to have it. Let me tell you, it was so bad that I would not only spend what I have, but I will cross over into the overdraft, spend that as well. It's a poverty mentality. And as if that wasn't enough, spend on the credit card as well, knowing fully well that I won't be able to pay it back within that month. And remember, every time you only pay the minimum on your credit card, it will take you 38 years to pay it off. You will be a slave to that slave company. If anything, those of you with bad credit cards, pay them off by God's grace and take a pair of scissors, rip them up, and only remain with 1 or 2 cards with a good APR. But even though you don't need that, that you can manage to use and pay back within the month every time. If you have too many, you do not need them. Chop them up, throw them away. Good riddance. Don't just say, oh, I'll pay them off and I'll keep them for a rainy day. Lie, lie, lie. Especially if you still have the poverty mentality, you will pick up that card. You will spend. You will see a Jimmy Choo. You will spend. You will see something you can't afford, but because there's a card, you will spend. Remember, only spend on your card if you can pay it back before it matures and before the APR kicks in. Okay, that is money wisdom. I believe I'm almost done. Where are we? We are dealing with the poverty mentality. Poverty mentality is a mindset. It's a mind shift. Punish yourself. See something you like. This is how you defeat the poverty mindset. And refuse to spend, refuse to buy it, no matter how much you want it. You're killing that mentality. You're stifling it. You're starving it. You're killing it. Receive an email saying, oh, you're eligible for another credit card. Refuse. You don't need another credit card. You don't need 3, 4, 5 credit cards. What for? You don't need it. A credit card, you're just accumulating debt, and especially when you don't even know how to manage a credit card. Refuse it. That is how you defeat the poverty mentality. I can go on because there's more I can say about that. But right now, I'll just say that so that we can finish in the next few minutes because I want to conclude. Let's see if we can move on to number is it 15, the last one. Let's do the last one, number 15. Number 15, where is it? No, that's number 15. Where are you? Okay, let me go find number 15. Number 15, the laws that govern money. The reason I put this at number 15 is because I was now going to give you 15 laws that I've summarized that govern money and break them down further. So what we will do is we will pack there for tonight because of time, and I don't want to keep you here any longer than I already have. I will pack on number 15, which is the laws that govern money. And all I will say tonight is there are laws that govern money. The same way the law of gravity, for instance, says that, you know, if I throw this down, if I let go of this, it will go down. It's a law, okay? Whether I'm black or white, it will work. Whether I live in Africa or in England, it will work. The laws are principles that work regardless of where you are. Whether I'm a girl, a boy, male, female, it will work, okay? It doesn't matter. The same way, there are laws that govern money. And so if you want to accumulate financially, understand that there are laws that govern money. That means these laws will work for you regardless of your geographical location, regardless of your education, regardless of where you are. These laws will work for you regardless of your color, your religious beliefs, regardless of. That is why if you've noticed in this session and the next one I'll do, I won't be dwelling too much on any preaching or any principle, religious principles or faith principles, because I want to reach everybody out there. Because the issue of money affects everybody, not just Christians, everybody. And so principles of financial wealth, of course, I believe in miracles, but we're not talking about the supernatural today. We're talking about practical steps that can get. See, the focus on the supernatural has generated or created a generation of lazy Christians, and I'm not interested in that. Today and the next time I come back here to do this, I will let you know. It's probably, I don't know if next Wednesday there's a Made by Grace show. If there isn't, I'm back next Wednesday. If there is a show next Wednesday, it means I'm back 2 weeks from now to finish off part 2, where I would discuss the laws that govern money. And once you obey those laws, just like the law of gravity, whether you like it or not, it will work for you. You may not like your neighbor, you may not like your cousin, but if they follow these laws, they will prosper and you will hate them even more. On the other side, your cousins may not like you. Your neighbors may not like you. Your family members may not like you. Your colleagues at work may not like you. But if you follow these laws, they will work for you and you will prosper, regardless of who likes you or who doesn't like you. And I believe I will park here tonight. I will park here because of time so that I can let you guys go. And thank you so much for joining me tonight and watching. If you want to get a hold of my Dare to Be Rich book, I believe it's on Amazon and other platforms. You can get a copy and read that. Most of what I was talking about tonight is in that book. Even the laws that I'm going to be teaching in my next session, some of them or most of them are in that book, and you want to get a hold of it and be blessed by it. I hardly ever advertise my books, but I'm just recommending this book for you to read. It's one of my bestsellers, actually, the prayer book, and this one are my bestsellers. Go and grab a copy of this book and be blessed by it. Thank you guys for watching and for joining me from across the different continents of the world. And thank you, Melon, for summarizing the lesson as you nicely do every time. I love you guys. Appreciate your Grace Church Global family and friends from everywhere in the States, in Africa, Zambia, South Africa, Australia. I see you guys. Love you. Appreciate you. Dineo, my friend in Esther, good to see you there. We're going to be sending customers your way with your business there, but God bless you. And I will see you guys, I believe, next time we're here. Like I said, I don't know if the ladies are here for the Made by Grace show next Wednesday. I need to double check. If they are, not to worry, I'll come back the Wednesday after that to finish Money Matters or Money Wisdom Part 2. God bless you guys. Have a good night, and I'll see you next time. Ciao for now. Ciao, ciao.